Hello everyone, I'm Zimagi. Today is a really good day in astrology, and I've decided to kick off the reaction project for famous people's birth charts, but I'll be using Multiverse Astrology to analyze their birth charts through decoding the meanings of planetary geometry. A great advantage of Multiverse Astrology over other systems like the 12 zodiac sign astrology is its ability to function accurately even when the birth time data is missing. So I want to show you that a true astrologer can accurately read anyone's birth chart even without the birth time data. The first person we're going to look at today is Roseanne Park, also known as Rose, and she's one of the four members of the Blackpink music group nowadays. But personally, I have never listened to Blackpink's music before, and I haven't read any news about this girl Rose either. So this will bring objectivity to my reaction video today. Before diving into the details, let me share with you briefly that everyone's birth chart will have two types of energy. First, we have balanced and harmonious energies, which are good planetary geometries in an astrology birth charts. They represent strengths and talents that can easily turn into positive outcomes just by following our instincts. On the other hand, we also have imbalanced energies, which are the bad planetary geometries in astrology birth charts. They represent weaknesses and flaws, and just following our instincts with these energies can lead to troubles and setbacks. And in many cases, when bad things keep happening in our lives, we tend to think that there's something like fate or destiny preventing us from achieving what we want. But that's more of an Eastern belief. In multiverse astrology, we see all these imbalanced energies simply as lessons for ourselves. So, as long as we are aware of their existence and actively change ourselves, we can finally overcome them. A person's birth chart is generally very complex, as you can see in the picture. This is one of Rose's 6 birth charts, and to read all of these charts thoroughly could take hours. But in today's short video, I can only skim through some very strong energy combinations in Rose's birth chart, and I'll simplify it as much as I can. So the following analysis will just highlight some outstanding personality traits of Rose. And the first thing I noticed in Rose's birth chart is the planetary geometry of Sun, Saturn Sedna midpoint, and Saturn Varuna midpoint. To be more specific, the Sun represents Rose herself, and Saturn Sedna midpoint brings a tendency to delay. And finally, the Saturn Varuna midpoint brings imbalance. So, this planetary geometry shows that Rose is someone who sometimes tends to delay things in life. However, this combination appears in the geocentric dimension representing her inner world. Therefore, only those very close to Rose can clearly see this tendency, and the audience from a distance will find it very hard to notice this. Next, Rose has a yacht configuration created by Varuna, Jupiter conjunct Mercury, and Ixion. More specifically, Mercury represents communication, Jupiter brings insight, positivity, values, and represents learning and knowledge, and Ixion brings talent and outstanding abilities. And finally, Varuna amplifies energy several times. Therefore, this yacht geometry shows that Rose is very eager to learn, curious, ready to explore, and deeply thinks about the topics that she cares about. At the same time, Rose is also very honest and good at comforting, encouraging, and spreading positivity to other people. And Rose probably is also willing to empathize and be tolerant of those around her, ready to support others when being asked. Next, Rose continues to have another yacht configuration created by Verona, Pluto, and Juno. More specifically, Pluto and Juno both bring obsession. Verona amplifies energy several times. Therefore, this yacht geometry shows that once something attracts Rose's attention, she will become obsessed with it a lot, even to the point of being hard to remove it from her own thoughts. Now, the next geometry I want to mention here is Uranus, Saturn, Jupiter midpoint, and Verona. More specifically, Uranus here represents the public crowd, Saturn brings imbalance, and a Saturn-Jupiter midpoint brings confusion. And finally, Verona amplifies energy several times up. Therefore, this geometry shows that Rose will feel somewhat uncomfortable in crowded places, especially in new environments, and maybe Rose doesn't really want to actively attract attention or initiate conversation with strangers. Finally, in this dimension, Rose has a T-square geometry of Chiron, Jupiter conjunct Saturn, axial midpoint, and Juno. More specifically, Chiron here represents love, marriage, and family. Jupiter represents insight, and Juno represents detachment from reality. And finally, Saturn axial midpoint increases the likelihood of making mistakes. But because this is a very negative T-square geometry, so when interpreting it, we have to deny the good nature of the participating planets. Therefore, this T-square geometry shows that Rose is not really insightful in love, easily detached from reality, which can lead to wrong and inaccurate decisions. So, this will be a big lesson for Rose in life. Now, let's move to the dimension of geocentric longitude Zodiac 7. Form when we fix the position of the Earth at the center and divide a circle of 360 degrees into 7 equal parts. And here, Rose has a very prominent geometry created by Verona, Sedna, and Mercury. And to be more specific, Sedna brings fierceness, Mercury represents thinking and communication. And finally, Verona here continues amplifying energy several times. So, this geometry shows that Rose is very firm in her own choices and decisions. Now, we will step into the geocentric declination dimension formed when we fix the Earth at the center and consider the planetary movements vertically. Here, Rose is born with an aspect of axiom parallel Vesta, and to be more specific, Vesta governs the audience, fans, and admirers, and Vesta is very warm and caring towards others, and Ixion brings talent and outstanding abilities. Therefore, this aspect shows that Rose is friendly, approachable to talk to, and at the same time, Rose is someone who cares a lot about people around her. So, even though Rose might not feel comfortable initiating conversations with strangers, if you happen to meet Rose in real life and strike up a conversation, she will probably respond warmly. Continuing, Rose has the following aspect of Chiron parallel Sappho, and to be more specific, Chiron represents love, marriage, and family, and Sappho represents excessive worry and anxiety. So, this aspect shows that Rose tends to have more worries when entering into love romantic relationships than usual. From my observation, there are many ways that this anxiety can manifest. For example, a single person might worry about finding a partner or not, But someone already in a romantic, committed relationship might worry about whether the other person is suitable for a long-term commitment. And as for someone already in a very toxic relationship, they might worry about whether or not they can find another truly soulmate when they end this current relationship. But overall, regardless of how it manifests, the combination of Chiron and Sappho creates excessive worries and anxieties in matters of love. Next, let's move on to the heliocentric longitude zodiac 12 dimension created when we fix the sun at the center and divide the circle into 12 equal parts. And the most prominent geometry I want to highlight in this dimension is a combination of Earth Godiva and Saturn Varuna midpoint. To break it down, Earth represents Rose herself, and Godiva brings a tendency to be very emotional. And finally, Saturn Varuna midpoint brings excessiveness and imbalance. So, this combination shows us that Rose is much more emotional than usual, and because this combination appears in the heliocentric dimension representing how other people around Rose perceive her, so even distant audiences can see this tendency very clearly from afar. Now, let's move on to the next dimension of heliocentric longitude zodiac 7, created when we fix the sun at the center and divide a circle into 7 equal parts. And the first combination of energy I see here is a combination of Varuna, Sedna, and Jupiter conjunct series. And to be more specific, Sedna brings determination and fierceness, series brings concentration, and Varuna amplifies energy several times up, and finally Jupiter reinforces the positive energies. So, this combination shows us that Rose is very driven, not easily discouraged, dares to think and act, and is willing to work hard toward her goals. And at the same time, the determination that this energy combination brings will support Rose in living with her passion and pursuing her passion for success more easily than other people. Next, Rose has another interesting geometry of Earth, Neptune, and Quaoar. More specifically, Earth represents Rose herself. Neptune here represents peace and sustainability over time. Also, Neptune is very gentle, and Quaoar represents influence. So, this combination shows us another angle of her personality, and Rose is relaxed, laid back, ready to compromise to avoid unnecessary conflicts, and she appears to want long-term commitment to many aspects of her life, at least from an outsider's perspective, and at the same time, she is someone who has influence on those around her, and is not hard for people to be impressed by her skills or abilities. And here, Rose has another geometry created by Earth, Venus, and Ixion conjunct Pluto. And to be more specific, Earth represents Rose herself, Venus represents beauty and the ability to create beautiful values, and Pluto here represents the ego. So, this energy combination shows us that Rose is charming, polished, polite, and knows how to make herself become more attractive and appealing to those people around her. And she also has quite a strong ego, and this can easily make people feel that there's something arrogant, conceited, cocky, or snobby about this girl. Finally, let's move on to the final dimension of heliocentric latitude, formed when we fix the sun at the center and consider the planetary movements vertically. And in here, Rose has a big geometry of Chiron, Eros, Uranus, Verona, and Saturn Ixion midpoint. And to be more specific, Chiron represents love, marriage, and family. Eros brings impulse, and Uranus doesn't want to be confined and gets bored easily. And finally, Saturn axial midpoint increases the likelihood of making mistakes. Furthermore, Verona in here is a planet that amplifies energy several times up. So this combination shows us that Rose is very spontaneous and impulsive in love, and she's a type who doesn't want to be tied up easily in romantic relationships. But she also gets bored quite easily, and when she's bored, she can abruptly end the romantic relationships rather suddenly. And during these processes, Rose is likely to make big mistakes in love when she acts on her instincts. And the advice here for Rose is to spend time studying and learning about love psychology to know what she should do to develop, to maintain, and to nurture a long-term committed love relationship. Follow my channel and join my Facebook group Multiverse Astrology if you really want to study astrology from a scientific perspective, and if you have any suggestions about the next celebrity that you want me to do a reaction video, please comment below. And if you have any other further comments or questions, please also drop them below. I will reply as soon as I can. And if you want to book a consultation session with me, please check the link in the description below. And if you want to get your astrology birth charts in 6 dimensions for free, please visit AstroPro, our free astrology birth chart drawing tool available at en.astropro.vn. And if you want to know your golden time to start important tasks in your life to increase your chances of success and happiness, then please sign up and buy my Astro Calendar. I'll leave the link in the description below. And now it's time to say goodbye, my Magi friends. Goodbye and see you again very soon.